So listen, I know there's a lot of guys out there who have skepticisms about women and relationships, but regardless of whether you're one of those guys or you're not, the reality is that love can hit you at one of the most least expected times, all right? And you may come across a woman, or you may have come across a woman that you feel like this is the one, this is it. And my prayer is that that whole thing works out for you, but I'm aware of the fact that a lot of men aren't ready for that moment when it comes and end up mishandling things in a way that shoots themselves in the foot. Now, I don't want this to be about like putting all responsibility on you in those situations, but I do want to hold you accountable to what you can do to at least give yourself the best chance of things working out with that special woman. All right. And again, whether she's there in your life now, or maybe she'll be there sometime soon when you least expect it, this will help you be ready. So one of the first things I want you to do if you feel like you found the one is learn to not react emotionally. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about men shouldn't be vulnerable and open up to a woman. I have a video on that. That's not the angle I really want to go with here. What I want to focus on, and I'll lay it out like this. There's a situation where man meets a woman, they hit it off, he feels an intense connection with her. She feels it too, all right? So they are clicking, things are going amazing. And somewhere along the process, maybe she starts acting funny, maybe she starts pulling back, maybe she's not as responsive as she usually is. Now, granted, there are some situations, or a lot of situations, where that's simply a sign of a woman who's lost interest. But unfortunately, because of that reality, a lot of men interpret the situation in that way, and in that moment end up reacting to it emotionally by being hurt, by being bitter, by being negative, whatever the case may be. And what you may not realize as a man is that when you meet a woman who can be the one, and she feels as strongly about you, that can scare the crap out of her, all right? The unfortunate reality is that the majority of people have been through issues, have been hurt, have been let down, and they're a bit guarded. And when they meet someone they have such an intense connection with, it can leave them vulnerable in a way that really frightens them. And in that moment, they end up mishandling. So her reacting a certain kind of way, or her pulling away in that moment, may not be because she doesn't love you or doesn't care about you. It's because she cares so much, and it's getting the best of her. And she might be getting outside opinions, all these different things. So now, as a man, if you just react emotionally, you're very likely to pour more negativity into the situation, or even validate her fears by doing something very negative. And that can derail the whole potential of that relationship, okay? Instead, I need you to understand that even if something pisses you off, hurts you, whatever the case may be, take a deep breath. Don't internalize or immediately assume it's about her not being serious, trying to play you, whatever the case may be. That can be solved, or that can be discovered through proper communication. And we'll get more into that a little bit later, but just talk to her. But remain calm, remain confident. Your first thought shouldn't be, this is something bad. Your first thought should just be, let me figure out what this is. All right. And if you take that approach, you are much less likely to react emotionally in a way that's going to trigger more problems. Again, if I was speaking to her, I would want that woman to come into the situation healed. I would want her to better handle the situation, but you can only focus on what you can control. All right. And I've seen this happen so many times. It's actually what prompted me to do this video, because I'm like, I had several clients where similar situations were happening, and I'm like, okay, I got to get this message out to more people before they find themselves going down the same path. So be mindful of that. Just talk and do not assume. All right. So now another important thing you need to do as a man, if you feel like she's the one, is you need to be open and transparent with her. All right. So we just talked about how it's necessary to not assume things and to always be willing to communicate to try to discover what's going on. But understand this, again, as I mentioned, real love, real connection, it can be scary. Not just for her, it can be scary for you too. Let's just be real about that. But I would argue there may be a greater fear in that woman than there would be in you, because that woman has been to very high emotional places before with men that she fell deeply for whatever reason. It may not have even been situations where she had a genuine connection. She just became very emotionally invested. And if she's been let down, which most cases that's what happens, she's holding on to more essentially trauma, unresolved trauma. Whereas you as a man, it can be as bad, it can be worse, but it is more likely that you did not have as much deep emotional investments as her. Therefore, when you meet this woman that you feel can be the one, you are much more willing to move forward and dive in head first. All right. Now, you have to be open and transparent, because again, that will solve or stop a lot of problems from arising. You have to remember that, confusion creates chaos, all right? And confusion is created by a lack of clarity. So when two people are not talking enough and being forthcoming and being open, it leaves room for doubt, for assumptions, for overanalyzations, all these different things. Now, I will recognize the fact that you can be honest with a woman, you can be so forthcoming, and she just does not believe the words coming out of your mouth. There's nothing you can do about that. If she's holding on to that much unresolved hurt and trauma, that she can't allow herself to embrace the good that's in front of her, that's a her issue, okay? But you as a man have to make sure you're doing your part. And if you want her to be open and honest with you so that you don't have any confusion and lack of clarity, well, you have to lead by example, all right? Now, I know, again, many will say, well, you're not supposed to be telling a woman all your feelings and all this stuff. Listen, it's not the expression of feelings that causes problems for a man in most cases. It's the energy in which he expresses it, all right? What I'm saying is there's one thing for a man, and I'm giving extreme examples. There's one thing for a man to be on his knees crying in front of a woman saying how much he loves her and can't live without her, versus the man who calmly and confidently says, I love you, I want you in my life, these are my intentions with you. Both are expressing love, but the energy in which they do it is going to affect how she receives it. So yes, if you crying, snot coming out your nose, you're all over the place, emotionally unstable, that will come across as weak. Let's keep it real. And that weakness is not attractive. And yes, that can cause a woman to pull away or to have second thoughts and doubts about moving forward. But the confident man is not losing out because he expressed his love or his concerns or even his worries. Again, even the expression of, this is intense for me and I'm a little scared. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how you are expressing it and then how you move from there. Are you dwelling in fear and negativity, or are you expressing it, addressing it, and then trying to find ways to move above it? If you do that, you will find it does not work against you. And I will say one more thing before we move on to the next point. If you do it in that way and it still works against you, you just expose she ain't the one for you. If a woman cannot embrace you being open, vulnerable, expressive, and doing it within your masculine energy, there's nothing else you could do with her. Like she has, again, it's a her problem, or she's just not the right fit for you. But the woman who actually is into you and is healthy enough to embrace being with you, it will feed her. It will make her draw closer to you, not push her away from you. All right. And one more thing we'll mention about what you need to do if you think she's the one. And mind you, there's a lot more we can discuss. I want to make kind of a quick video today, but we'll get into more in the future. The last thing I'm going to tell you for today is to make sure that you take time to learn her and don't just project generalities on her, all right? So I understand there's a lot of information on the internet about how women are and how women respond to things. And I'm not going to argue that those things in a lot of cases are accurate, okay? But you have to understand they don't always apply to the woman that you have a genuine connection with, to the woman who actually loves you as you love her. The rules change a little bit, okay? And as well as her as an individual may have little small details that differ from the general public. So an example that comes to mind, I love to use, there's a great book by Neil Strauss called The Game, all right? I'm not gonna give the whole rundown, but essentially Neil in the book, and I believe it's an autobiography kind of story, but either way, he breaks down how he learned pickup artistry, all this stuff, got him a bunch of women, but then when he fell for a woman, when he fell in love, how those things were working against him, all right? And he had to learn, he had to shift to a different mindset when you're dealing with someone that you have real feelings for and she has real feelings for you. So you have to understand as a man, like, listen, nothing wrong with having a foundation of information when it comes to women in general, but do not make the mistake of just automatically assuming all of it will apply to that woman. You've got to take time to communicate. It goes right back to communication again. You got to take time to talk to her, learn her. Now, here's the thing you got to understand about women and learning them. They may not always want, and this is kind of a general thing, and it can be different with your specific girl, but a lot of women don't want to have to flat out tell you everything, all right? They want you to learn or figure it out through observing them, so to speak, because that's how a lot of them operate. And so you have to understand that she may not always be very clear with her words. So take into account not just what she says, but how does she actually respond to things? How is her mood or energy? Look at her body language. Again, some of you may say like, that's too much work. It's not too much work if we're talking about the woman you think is the one. The general, I understand you don't want to have to do that with every random woman you meet. Cool. That is a lot of work to try to do that with every woman. But we're talking about the woman you think, this can be it. This can be, I can build my life with her or share my life with her. So with her, yes, it's worth it. It's necessary. And by tapping and getting in tune with who she is as a woman, it's going to help you go much, much further in that situation. Hey, thank you for watching this video. I pray it was helpful to you. Be sure to watch this one over here on how to regain her trust after messing up. So one time I was coaching a couple and they got into a big fight because she found him flirting online, okay? And they're supposed to be, they are engaged and they're